father of prophets, breaking the chains of idol worship, fire's transformation into mercy, the incredible life of Prophet Abraham. Quran and the Bible disagree as to which of his two sons, Ishmael and Isaac, Abraham, in pursuance of God's command, offered for sacrifice. According to the Bible, Abraham was commanded to offer his only son for sacrifice, but Isaac was at no time his only son. As stated earlier, Ishmael was born to Abraham. After 13 years, Isaac was born to him. It stands to reason that Abraham must have been required by God to offer for sacrifice his dearest firstborn son, Ishmael. God himself regards Ishmael as a valid heir, for in numerous places the Bible mentions that Ishmael is a seed of Abraham in Genesis 21:13, and also of the son of the bondwoman, Hagar, will I make a nation because he is thy seed. Genesis 21:9-19. To continue the story, Abraham spoke to his son to see that he understood God's command. Abraham wanted to discuss this with his son. God gave Abraham the joyful news of having a patient son. When his son grew old enough to assist with daily tasks, Abraham spoke to him. He said, "My dear son, I had a dream in which I was told to sacrifice you. What do you think?" His son replied with faith, saying, "Father, please do as you are commanded. With God's help, you will find me patient." Quran 37:1-1-2. Indeed, if someone is told by their father that they must be sacrificed because of a dream, it's not an easy thing to accept. Many would doubt the dream and question their father's sanity. However, Ishmael understood his father's position. As the religious son of a prophet father, he was fully committed to submitting to God. And when they both submitted to the command of God, and Abraham laid Ishmael face down upon his forehead in order to be sacrificed. Quran 37:103. As Abraham attempted to cut Ishmael's neck, either the sharp edge of the knife was turned over in his hand. He tried again, but the knife was turned over again. Then a voice stopped him. We said to him, "O Abraham, you have truly fulfilled the vision. This is how we reward those who do good." Indeed, it was a clear and challenging test. Quran 37:104-106. Indeed, it was the greatest test of all, the sacrificing of his only child, one born to him after he had reached an old age and years of yearning for offspring. Here, Abraham showed his willingness to sacrifice all his belongings for God. This is why he was chosen as a leader for all humanity, one whom God blessed with a progeny of prophets. And when his God tested Abraham with various commands, and he proved true to each one, God said, "Indeed, I have made you a leader of humanity." Abraham said, requesting of God, "And from my progeny." Quran 2:124. Then we rescued him with a momentous sacrifice. Quran 37:107. This act of complete surrender and faith in God is reenacted by hundreds of millions of Muslims every year during the Hajj pilgrimage, specifically on a day known the Day of Sacrifice. Abraham returned to Palestine, and upon doing so, he was visited by angels who give him and Sarah the good news of a son, Isaac. We bring you good tidings of a boy possessing wisdom. Quran 15:53. After a separation of several years, again the father and son, Ishmael, met. It was on this journey that the two built the Kaaba on God's command as a permanent sanctuary, a place laid for the worship of God. It was here, in this same desert where Abraham had left Hagar and Ishmael earlier. that he prayed to God to make it a place where they would establish the prayer, free from idol worship. Abraham said, "O my Lord, make this city one of peace and security, and preserve me and my sons from worshiping idols." Quran 14:35. Our Lord, you know that which we hide and that which we openly express. Nothing on the earth or in heaven is hidden from God. Thanks be to God who has given me, in my old age, Ishmael and Isaac. Indeed, my Lord hears my prayers. My Lord, help me establish regular prayers, and also guide some of my descendants to do the same, our Lord, and accept my prayer. Our Lord, forgive me and my parents and believers on the day when the account is cast. Quran 14:35-41. Years later, Abraham, now reunited with his son Ishmael, were to establish the honored house of God. This house would become the point of worship, the direction toward which people would turn when praying, and a destination for pilgrims. Quran describes the sanctity of the Kaaba and the purpose of its building. And when we assign to Abraham the place of the house, do not associate with me anything, and keep my house pure for those who walk around it, pray, and bow and prostrate in worship. Quran 22:26. The Kaaba is the first place of worship appointed for all of humanity for the purpose of guidance and blessing. Prophet Muhammad, may the mercy and blessings of God be upon him, said, "Indeed, this place has been made sacred by God the day He created the heavens and the earth, and it will remain so until the day of judgment." Sahih al-Bukhari. Indeed, the building of a sanctuary to be held by all latter generations was one of the best forms of worship men of God could do. They invoked God during their feet. Our Lord, accept from us this duty. You, and only you, are the one who listens and knows all. Our Lord, make us Muslims, submitting to you, and from our seed, create a submissive nation to you. Show us the way of worship, and forgive us. Indeed, you, and only you, are the forgiving, the merciful. Our Lord, Quran 2:127, 1-28. Abraham also prayed that a prophet be raised from the progeny of Ishmael, who would be the inhabitants of this land, as the progeny of Isaac would inhabit the lands of Canaan. Raise up a messenger from among them who will read your teachings to them, teach them the scriptures and wisdom, and cleanse them of their sins. Indeed, you, and only you, are the mighty, the wise. Quran 2:129. Abraham's prayer for a messenger was answered several thousand years later when God raised Prophet Muhammad among the Arabs. And as Mecca was chosen to be a sanctuary and house of worship for all humanity, so too was the Prophet of Mecca one sent to all humanity. This moment marked the highest point in Abraham's life and the fulfillment of his mission, the building of a place of worship for all of humanity, regardless of their race or color. It was intended for the worship of the one true God. By establishing this house, there was a guarantee that God, the God Abraham called upon, and for whom he made countless sacrifices, would be worshipped forever, without the association of any other God with him. Indeed, this was one of the greatest blessings granted to any human. God is closer to you than your jugular vein. Quran 50:16.